Hello and welcome to this third day of our webinars. I just let you find me and I would just see if I'm live here. Try to see if you can find me. Yes, I'm there. So good. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. And we are opening the energy work here. This is our third day. Number 3 out of 3. Where we are joining in this free 3 days webinar. And we are working with how to enter the 5th dimension. We opened that on day 1. And how we do it every day, we open that on day 2. And here on day 3, we will open to how to stay. And work a bit with that. And I've been looking so much forward to open this teaching together with you and the energy work, also because it should have been yesterday. But due to problems with the internet connection, we postpone it until today. And this fits pretty well with the teaching because it's also like this when we work with entrance and staying in the 5th dimensional consciousness state. It is important to acknowledge that someday the connection is lesser good than other days. And in these days, we might as well flow in the 3 or 4th dimensional consciousness state instead. It's no need for working so hard on it, and it still doesn't work for us. So it's better to choose the better days in the beginning, and then when we are trained and we have tried this a lot of times at good days, then we can move on to try it on the more difficult days. Okay. Take a couple of deep breaths with your intention. Hello. Welcome here. So this webinar is about how to enter the 5th dimension every day and how to stay. This is day 3 out of 3 and will be about how to stay. But we will begin with how did it go with the training from day 2 if you have been participating and if you have had time for training. So the training that goes with day 2 is see if you can catch as many sudden inner reactions in your own system as possible. Try to catch them with curiosity and warm-hearted intention to investigate and to listen. Collect them and recognize the patterns that appears by itself. So have any of you tried this since when we had day 2? It's a bit, much to expect that you have had time to practice. And the meaning by this is also that these 3 days is accessible and they'll stay here as replay possibilities, and then you can use them and practice and use them and practice and see how it goes if you have experience with it. And then you can share in the groups and even ask questions, and I will come back now and then and answer the questions. So let's open the energy work, and we will do that by the training from day one. And the training from day one was the multiple dimensional awareness practice. Mindfulness, multidimensional mindfulness practice. Okay, so you begin by choosing one of your senses. And I will choose the first sense will be the sense of my body resting on the chair. So the sense of my body resting on the chair, I will allow this to fill up so much as possible in me, in my system. So you could choose another sense, the hearing sense, the eyesight, the smell, maybe your hands. You just choose one sense, and then you focus on this sense and allow it to fill you up as much as possible. Use your intention to create the size that supports your system, your energy to shift when you use your intention to put demands on it, to decide for it. And then I take a second sense, and my second sense will be my hearing. So at the same time, I have the sense of my body resting on the chair, and at the same time, I'm listening to my voice and whatever is in the surroundings at the same time, even the sound that in my ears goes with higher frequencies that's present right now due to the energy work. This is a sound that to me is like when I was a child and the television is on and you turned off the volume, then you could still hear this high frequency sound but no sound, and that's present with me in my ears when the frequency and the energy work goes high and the energy gets strong, as now. So I let my hearing, as well as the sense of my body and the chair, fill me up as much as possible at the same time. And I think that the third one would be my satisfaction with being here. All in all. So I take this in as a third sense. I know it's not a physical sense, but it's still actually it's a sense. So I have this direct connection with my body as one sense, the hearing as the second sense, and then my sense of being here, my satisfaction with this as a third sense. And then I begin to have the flickering. So the first sense gets lesser intense. So to me, 3 is enough. And I also recognize that my thoughts, they disappear. How about you? 1 sense, 2 sense, 3 sense, 4. And we have a sharing here. How to stay is exactly what I need right now. I have felt the 5th dimension for some days, but the last few hours I felt, this uncomfortable what is it called? You didn't find the word either. Restless, feeling restless. And I admit that I forgot to do this. And it's perfect. It's like it's so expected that we forget, and it's okay. Then you could see it as you recall your third, fourth dimensional state of consciousness, and then you can experience the difference again. 3 is enough to me as well. Thank you for sharing. Did any of you have a try on this one with the catch any inner sudden reactions? Because this practice, this training supports what we do to stay. 2 for me. Okay. Thank you for sharing. And as I'm here with my 3 senses opened at the same time, I sense at the same time that the energy work here is stabilizing, supporting each and every one of us to join in the teaching. To me, I have an experience of this teaching that the energy work is a huge part of it, but that's my experience. The 5th dimensional consciousness, that if you have heard me in the 2 previous days of teachings of webinar, to me it's called 7th dimension, but this consciousness state, it is important that we enter it by ourselves. Until the 5th or 4th dimensional consciousness state, if you use that description, until the 4th dimensional consciousness state, you can use other people's descriptions and how they teach and tell you how everything is. You can use that and walking in their footsteps to join in the 4th dimensional consciousness state. But to enter the 5th, you need to have ignitions of your own experience in a lot of ways. So this first practice, that from the first day, if you have an experience that your thoughts is closing down, you're centered, your system resting more and more, it's de-stressing. Do you sense that? And even though I'm telling you, it's important for you to use my pointing just to open the question. So for me to point at this, it's important that you still open it as a question. Do I have a sense of being less stressed? Do I have a sense of being more centered? Do I have an experience of my thoughts resting more? Maybe, maybe not. This opening for questions is a part of the training that you need to have to be able to stay in the 5th dimensional consciousness state. Okay. So the second day's training was, if you're here and you are quieting your system by using the practice from the first day, the training, then if anything opens by itself, a thought, a shift in your energy, an idea, an emotion, a feeling of anything that appears, then you catch it, meet it with curiosity and a warm-hearted intention to investigate and to listen, just as we are here right now. So by instance, I have a little tension in my chest right now. So, and then I have a little pain in my neck. So I just meet it, recognize it, acknowledge. Interesting. And just by meeting it, interesting, it opens and change. And then I have a sense of being again satisfied about being here with you. And then I recognize that I was acknowledging it, and then I let it go, and then that was what opened the tension in my chest. Sharing here, yesterday 3 sentences was enough as well. Tried it during a walk in the forest. Beautiful. It's such a good practice training area. In the 5th, 7th dimension, I experienced it is easy to solve problems that barely become problems before they are solved. Exactly. Isn't it amazing? And it's important for us to acknowledge this change, this difference, because that is actually a part of how to stay, as we will move on to talk about. So training. And where in your everyday life can you do the practice? We talked about that in day 2, everywhere. Now you were talking about in the forest. And I did it today on the couch. I had a little rest between teaching. So I was laying there on the couch and practicing the training as well. So let's move on to how to stay. Okay. And we're staying here as well as good as possible. And if anything pops up by itself, you see if you can catch it, meet it. And even though you're still listening to me at the same time, see if you can do it, because that's a part of the training from day 1 and 2. That's to support our possibility to be able to have more things going on at the same time that we're handling. And this in a way that's not stressful at all. And actually, we are taking over possibilities that we're already carrying due to a capacity that has been opened but not used. And it's actually the non-usage of a capacities that gives us a lot of trouble with, by instance, thoughts and emotions that run around in circles and with no purpose, with no directions, disturbance and giving disturbance and stress, destroying our peace. That's not always, but often due to a part of us that has this capacity that's not used. So by beginning to use this capacity by choice, with your intention, you release the stress and you support yourself into the entrance of this possibility to enter 5th dimension consciousness state every day and stay. And of course, as I was talking about in the beginning, some days our connection is less good, and there could be so many reasons for that. And then it's a good idea to let it go. Say, not today, I do it some other day. So the inner peace and the outer order is what we need to stay in the 5th, 7th dimensional consciousness state. And the inner peace needs fuel, driving forces. And we have fulfillment, refreshment, satisfaction, being proud, etc. Put some more in here. That's the fuel. That's the path to inner peace. And we will talk about how to collect this in a treasure hunt. And also the outer order, that's the boundaries. We need them to stay as well. And the boundaries, they're created due to or through agreements with yourself, agreements with others, plans with yourself, plans with others, and again, put more on. So whatever gives you boundaries and outer order, you can put them in here. We need these to stay. And the treasure hunt. The treasure hunt is to make every day a special journey, not in everything, but in something. So the treasure hunt is to scout for where can I healthy and sustainably harvest body reaction, emotions, and mirroring of my highest versions. Okay, this might sound like huge work, but it isn't. It's not huge work at all. Okay. I would like to open this last part, mirroring of my highest version, open that a little more. So, mirroring of my highest versions, it could be being responsible, finding myself being responsible, and mirroring this by acknowledging it. So, mirroring of my highest version is to acknowledge everything that I do that shows me myself in my highest version. And the idea is that it's already here. It's just not acknowledged when it's there because it's not here all the time. And when it's not there, it's shadowing for when it's there. So, by instance, today, without judging how much and to what extent, when have you been responsible? Have you taken any responsibility at all today? Just take one or two. And then when you're in the state, you're still carrying in the state. Where you're in the seventh dimensional consciousness state. And in this state, when you mirror this time of the day where you were responsible, what is the immediate reaction? To me, I'm smiling and my heart is like growing. And my chest is like opening a bit. When I recognize just these small points where I was responsible in a small way. Joy is shared here. Thank you. Yes, joy. Let's take the next one. Do a treasure hunt here. During the day today, have you felt useful in any way in the smallest or biggest perspective, without measure. Have you been useful? And you don't need to be able to say yes to all of these. But if you felt useful, allow yourself to mirror this. And what opens with you? I'm kind of satisfied in a really quiet way. Like, this is okay. What happens if you have been useful in any way and you're mirroring this? Satisfaction. Yes, thank you. And it's sharing more. I have been useful and it feels good to mirror it. Thank you for the comments. It feels so good to be together here and open it mutually, fifth, seventh dimensionally. What about important? Do you see yourself as have been important in any way? The smallest or the biggest, without measure? Today, mirror this on purpose. What about making a difference? And sharing here, someone needed me and I was there. Then mirroring it. What happens when you're mirroring this in yourself? I'm moved. And then the question pops up. Have you already been doing this mirroring? Did you acknowledge this throughout the day? Or was it just passing by without your acknowledging it, without your mirroring it? Did you make a difference? Did you make someone happy today? Yes, I did. Find the smallest or the biggest without measure. Just go on the treasure hunt, find the small treasures from today. Did you make an effort today? Did you fulfill a purpose? It's not big, but it's there for sure. Then mirroring it by choice. And acknowledge as you're mirroring it, what response opens by itself in your system, in yourself. making a difference. I felt it while doing it. Yeah, sometimes we do, right? But not always. Sometimes we take it for granted. Did you make someone feel safe today? It's now a mirror and it makes space for more. Yes. Then we just take a little step back here. So now we tried scouting on the treasure hunt. Where can a healthy and sustainable harvest mirroring of my highest versions? The body reactions and the emotions, they are more like online inline. It's a bit more difficult to go back and reopen those. So by training, this is something that we catch on the road, but this in the same way. So any body reaction, any emotions, mirroring them and lifting them to their highest purpose or possibility to open your mirroring to yourself and your fulfillment. So these were both the access to the fuel and the creation of the boundaries. And the secret is that you don't need to be it all the time. But when you are, you harvest. And this will make your automatic system search for more of this without an effort from you. So, as we just tried it, these examples that you found, they were not continuously present throughout all of the day, wasn't they? It was like glimpses and certain situations. By zooming in and harvesting, by mirroring, you will create the energy and the reaction that is creating a positive short circuit in your system that makes it search for more automatically, because you're giving your system a satisfaction. Let's go back, I think. Just a second. Yes. So you are by the mirroring you just tried, did you have the experience of being proud, being fulfilled, feeling satisfaction, being refreshed? Did you find yourself having agreements with yourself that you fulfilled, agreements with others, plans with yourself and plans with others? So when you went through all these examples during the day, went on the treasure hunt, and you collected the treasures, did you have examples of this? Or is it too difficult? It makes sense if it's too difficult, because this is really new. And on this day 3 out of 3, it's like the most complicated part. So should we go through it again step by step from the beginning? So we have this first day practice when we open the senses one by one, multiple dimensional mindfulness practice. And then we move on to catch every sudden movement in a system, physical, emotional, in the energy. Meet them warm-hearted, to investigate and to listen. Collect them, maybe recognize the pattern that appears by itself. If it does, stay tuned. And how to stay. To stay in this state where this is possible all the time. We need inner peace and outer order. And to reach this, we need to fuel the driving forces and the boundaries. And the shortcut to reach this is the treasure hunt. So we don't need to sort it out. We don't need to find how, because we are already doing it. We just don't recognize it. When we recognize it and we harvest, then we will have the fuel and the boundaries, and they will grow. And the reason why they grow is when we're mirroring the highest versions, and we're mirroring the emotions and the body reactions, and we're mirroring them in our own mirror, then automatically our system will begin to search. Because our system will be, what's it called? Satisfied. So because your automatic system from a third dimension will be fulfilled as a world, will be fulfilled and will have an experience of that. So did you have an experience when you did this mirroring of the glimpse throughout the day? Did you have an experience from the treasure hunt? That you have experience of fulfillment, refreshment, satisfaction, being proud? So by doing this with mirroring what you're already doing, what's already there, then you will begin to automatically, without thinking, catching what gives you the fuel, what gives you the boundary that you need in the fifth, seventh dimensional consciousness state to stay. And then you don't need to be there all the time. But if you harvest when you are in these situations, then the fulfillment, the satisfaction, the joy, that's ignite your automatic system for, what's it called in English? Demands, actually. Needs. No, it's the needs. So your automatic system for fear and need will be satisfied, will be fulfilled. So because of this, it will begin to search for it. Yes, actually a satisfaction and joy while keeping an agreement. Yes. So when you are zooming in on this and you're mirroring it and you harvest it, then you give your system the satisfactions that automatically make it search for more like this. So you are pointing your system in that direction. It's like showing your system, look at that. Again, see it, acknowledge it, feel it. Oh, it's good. I want more. So your automatic system will do that. So the secret is that you don't need to be it all the time, and that if you harvest it when it's there, then your system will automatically begin to search for more and sharing more. Yes, I am fulfilled, and it feels like a natural state, like a zero state where I don't need to be proud of anything. Yeah. So could that be inner peace with outer order? So this zeroing state where I don't need to be proud or anything, could that be a kind of a beginning of an inner peace and an outer order? I'm just curious and a bit excited. And another comment, and again, now as I remember, it seems as if it grows. Yes. So we begin a positive spiral that supports us staying in the fifth, seventh dimensional state of consciousness. Does it make sense? Yes, I think it is an inner peace. Yes. And the inner peace and the outer order is what we need to stay in this consciousness state. Okay, so let's put it together. 1, training through your multidimensional senses from day 1. 2, the collect of sudden reactions in your system and meet them in curiosity and warmth. So that's like online mirroring, right? Online mirroring with everything. Sometimes I see it as when you're having a puppy, you know? And in the beginning you need to have so much time to watch it. Every small sign, what does it mean? To support the puppy into being the best puppy it can be. So this is kind of the same with your focus that you gain through the training, through your multidimensional senses, then the availability you give, the bandwidth, you use this to catch whatever appears, whatever's going on, meeting it, mirroring it, and put it on the shelf, collecting it, and see if it says anything, give you a sign, pattern, something that you can take care of, something that tells you more about yourself. And then the third is ignite the reactions by intentions that support your inner peace and your outer order. And you ignite these reactions by going on the treasure hunt. And when you ignite the reactions by intention that support your inner peace and outer order, then your need for the training through the multidimensional senses is going down. Or you can say that your bandwidth is going up. Then you will be more aware about certain reactions, your availability, your sensibility to the sudden actions and reactions, they grow. You will meet them, then you will learn to know more about yourself, and you can catch up some patterns, and you will meet them with curiosity and warmth. And then you will mirror them on the treasure hunt together with whatever is going on and ignite the reactions that support your inner peace and your outer order. Does it make sense? So you create a positive short circuit, a positive spiral that supports you to enter into the fifth dimensional state of consciousness or seventh every day and stay. And some days it will be maybe too difficult. Too much is going on. You will not have the space. You will not be able to do the practice, the training. You will not have the availability to this. You will be thrown out of the fifth, seventh dimensional state, and it's completely okay. And it's actually okay because your tools, the tools you have to take care of yourself and life, they're developed in the third, fourth dimensional state of consciousness. So because they're developed, they are useful there. So when you're getting in trouble and things get difficult, it is actually a good idea that you for a while leave the fifth, seventh dimensional consciousness state, and then you are in this state of being where your tools is accessible and you're used to have them and how to use them. And then when you shift, even these days, if you have some time to enter into the seventh, fifth, seventh dimensional consciousness state, then you will have a rest. Then you will have a possibility to gain your strength, to collect your powers. And then you go back to the third, fourth dimensional consciousness state and use your tools with the strength and the power and the overview, the clearness that you can reach when you take a short break in the fifth, seventh dimensional consciousness state. So when this is the kind of life we're in, you can turn it that way around. And when you have more space, life is more easy, then you can turn it the other way around. Then you can try to stay in the fifth, seventh dimensional consciousness state most of the time. And then sometimes you will just slip and visit the third, fourth dimensional consciousness state. And then you can easily go back. Then when you visit, you slip, you will have the possibility to see where do you have difficulties, where do you need to work more at your peace and your inner peace and your outer order. And then you can find the best way, the most easy way to build on this, to make choices, micro choices in your life that support you to step into more and more possibilities in your everyday life, developing your tools to work in this seventh, fifth dimensional consciousness state as well. This is about communication, it's about availability, it's about what flexibility. So when we had the first day, we talked about the entrance and how to stay with relying on your strength, your balance, and your flexibility. So when you get used to being and have time and days where it's possible to stay in the fifth, seventh dimensional consciousness state, then you will begin to expand your tools, your ways of handling life. You'll expand them to be more balanced and more flexible and have more strength. And that will create a new foundation for you, your conscious way of being. And the foundation here is your capacities to handle yourself, your life, in a way that gives you satisfaction and possibility to thrive. So that's the goal. That's what we are reaching for with the entrance into this new level of consciousness. And this is completely new as I see it. So this is a fresh possibility. The new thing is the accessibility. This is something that has been available for 1,000 years, or actually 4,000 years, but it has been difficult to reach it. It has been a certain kind of people living a certain kind of way. And the new thing is that this is the first glimpse of availability to everybody living in a modern reality. So this is for everybody. This is accessible for everybody, and the accessibility will grow the next years, the next month. So the new thing is the availability. The old thing is that it's still a bit difficult, and our language, our tools, our ways, they are built on the third, fourth dimensional consciousness state. So we lack a language, we lack tools, we lack ways to represent the fifth, seventh dimensional consciousness state. And it takes time. And the time is not time by clock. The time is consciousness time, awareness time, to grow the language, to grow the new ways. And as I see it, this is something that everybody is doing day by day, consciously, subconsciously, half consciously, through usage of technology, through the responsibilities, the growth of responsibilities, through the inventions that opens to more awareness and accessibility of teachings. Any kind of teachings creates the growth into the fifth, seventh dimensions, and the more different people that's entering these possibilities, these states of consciousness, the more the language and the ways will grow. The more ways, the stronger the foundation, the stronger the manifestation, and it will be growing into art, poetry, music, technology, and ideas, and politics, hopefully as well. I see it, the sign of it, all around. So this is my contribution for it to enter. So you who is interested in this, who would like to try to use your conscious awareness to enter into this consciousness state, you will be a pioneer. You will be somebody who is opening these possibilities in this way and use them, and by that creating them, manifesting it. And I believe some of these things, I know them because I have seen it, acknowledge it, tried it, talk with a lot of people who experience the same thing. It's not much of this you will find in science, sign of it in science, and a few things of the things I've been saying in this webinar. You can find science that proves this, but most of it comes through insights, spiritual visions, and experiences of how this works, my own and others. We have shared them and experienced the mutual experience, and also a lot of other people who worked with this. I see them describe the same things without ever reading a book or talking together. So something is mutually real, even though it's not proven in science yet. Partly some of it. By accessing it, it's my experience that we will support it to grow. We will support the seeds to be put into the soil of Earth consciousness, and we will be the seeds. We will be a part of what creates it to grow if you use it. But that's like something I believe in. For you to meet this, for you to find your own experience, this is not about what I'm believing in. This is not about what I experience. This is your experience. And what I tried to give you here is access, knowledge, and small practices that you can train and see what does this give you, what is your gain. And I hope that you will share it. I hope, like you who have been here live, that you who sees this, join this in replay as well, that you would like to share what do you experience when you use this, and how. Not the last, not the less. Okay, so this was the last of these 3 days, and I just see if we have the dates for the next 3 days, where we will open for a new webinar with teaching and invitation for free. And then in 3-4 months, I'll put on up a teaching in English as well that you can participate in with a fee. And I will also be present at Findhorn Foundation in April next year. In the next webinar, I will tell more about exactly when and what the topic will be, and maybe I will even have the price of the fee. I'm so excited about being invited and have the possibility to open a teaching in Findhorn Foundation. That's placed in northern Scotland, and it's an old community that rests of spiritual guidance. Opened for many years, really special. And let's see. I believe it will be the 22nd to 24th and the 25th of November will be the next 3-day webinar. Yes. So I hope to see you then. And I will say thank you for this meeting and the journey that we had here together. You who've been here live, and also you who join in through the replay. And the sharing here as well. I like the word treasure hunt. Yes, I like this as so much as well. The teachings, the webinars is always channeled. So like when it appears, I'm like, oh yeah, I think this is a good idea as well. Sometimes I'm like, oh, isn't this a little bit wild? Isn't this a little bit risky? But I never interfere. I never change what comes. And a comment here, I see a lot of promising signs. Yes, it's so interesting. And to me, it also shows proof that this shift is going on, that a lot of things makes more sense. And the way they make sense collaborates more and more. Of course, it creates a lot of tensions, a lot of unease and not peace. But this has always been here. So the new waves, the new openings is creating these promising manifestations, this promising movements. And these are what I support with the teachings and the energy works that goes with this. So thank you for so much, and I hope to see you again. Tomorrow there's a full moon gathering, and I will be holding this opening for full moon energetic updates and the field for love and light, where you can bring in your loved ones and places where you would like to give love and light to release darkness and shadows. And I will have this every time, or nearly every time throughout the years around the full moon, and it will be an hour, and it is at 22:10 p.m. Central European Time. Okay, thank you so much. See ya.